Attaching yourself to a past identity is not normal. Being so attached to someone that has evolved, but you're attached to who they were in the past, is the most self-sabotaging thing you can do. And honestly, it's really draining on the other person. It's really draining to have people still want to identify you with someone that you aren't anymore, or someone that you once were. And I think, depending on the person and the type of relationship that they have with themselves, the reaction is obviously going to be different. People that advocate for growth and change and evolution, and self-discovery and individuation and healing yourself and working on your shadow, and integrating your shadow in your day-to-day life and truly asking yourself those questions, truly getting to know yourself to the deepest parts, they will react to your evolution as a person in a very positive way, because they themselves already know that in order to change, you need to look at what is keeping you back, looking at your current state and asking yourself, am I living comfortably out of fear of trying something that puts me in a position to be seen or heard or exposes me in some way, even if that will lead to confidence and growth? Or am I truly advocating for my growth? Those are the questions that you need to be asking yourself, because, like I said, it's not normal to constantly try to live in a way where you don't accept people for who they are in this present moment, and you're so obsessed with the person that they once were. People do this, and the psychology behind this is because when a person hasn't changed but witnesses a person that has changed, in order for them to feel secure within themselves, even if it's false security, right, is to constantly try to bring up that past version of that person. So these people would say things like, oh, you used to be so funny, you used to be so carefree, you didn't used to be this serious. But it's like, the thing that I've realized with these people is that they would be the most people that would benefit from you lowering yourself. They would benefit from you staying small and keeping yourself small, because people that are truly confident, people that respect themselves, also respect people that respect themselves as well. You know, they will react to people that have changed and that have chosen themselves. Excuse my grammar, it's a bit off today. They will react very positively to a person that actually lives for themselves and chooses themselves, right? Because this is the life that we're living in. But we've been told that choosing yourself is selfish, but it's like, hold on, we're separate human beings that have been brought onto this earth to live our own separate lives. Sometimes you have to distance yourself from people in order to grow. Sometimes you have to close chapters to enter a new chapter, a more abundant and fulfilling and aligned chapter, right? It's normal to fall out with your friends or with certain people that you are no longer in resonance with. That is part of growth. That is part of human evolution. We are not supposed to stay in the same place. We are not supposed to stay stuck. We are not supposed to stay comfortable. That is the whole point of evolution. It's to expand, it's to grow, it's to change. into a better version of yourself, into a higher version of yourself, into a different version of yourself, exploring different ways of living and ways of being, right? But literally, I would say 90% of the population don't want to change, don't like change, they don't want to, because change is scary. Change means living a life that you are not in control in, or because the thing is, we aren't in control of our lives, but we like to feel in control. That is human nature. But the thing is, when you're someone that is on a growth journey, that is not even something that you can even do in your day-to-day life. Being comfortable is something that is not in your radar. It's not even it's not even an option, because you constantly change and grow and heal, right? And become better every single day. People that are not comfortable with growth are the very same people that will stay in the same 9-to-5 job that they've been working in for 40 years, even knowing how miserable that job makes them and the fact that they're not actually getting anywhere in life. Regardless if they have passions, regardless if they are aware of the things that they actually want to do and that actually lifts up their soul, people choose the easy way. People choose the life that is general, that is normal, that is ordinary, right? In order to be extraordinary, you have to do what 99% of the population don't do. You have to walk alone. You have to distance yourself from certain people, even if it's uncomfortable. You have to put yourself in isolation, or choose yourself to the point where you might be outcasted, you might be judged, you might have people throwing opinions at you left, right and centre, even if the only thing that you did was choosing yourself and choosing what you want to do for the first time in your life. I don't think people realise the amount of control that they give to other people, and the fact that they put other people on such a pedestal where they don't even remember the last time that they made a decision for themselves. So these are the same people that would ask 10 people what to wear for this gathering. I'm just giving an example. Someone that cannot make their own decisions in their life will be the very same person that calls you selfish for not needing others' approval or validation, or others to tell you what you should do about your life. When did other human beings become experts of our own lives? Genuinely. I am not an expert of someone else's life. I cannot live someone else's life. I cannot tell them what to do or try to control them. I can't live their life, and no one can live my life. But especially with people that are addicted to control or feeling superior to other beings, because the thing is, it's masked superiority, it's manipulated superiority. To other people it looks like, oh, they are in power, but they are the most powerless people. Why? Because their whole life is based off of other people and telling other people how to live their life and controlling them, and being a puppet master to other people. But that is not control. That is not true power. That is not confidence. That is the most insecure act that anyone can do. These people feel so inferior, so they have to project this image that they are above everyone else and that they know this and that and they are educated and that they have this diploma and this whatever, this certificate or this label, when it's like you just want to control people. You just want to tell people what to do because you are not actually living for you. You are living for other people, and you want other people to live for you. So anytime a person makes a decision that they didn't consult you in, that they didn't ask for your opinion or permission, as if they need to anyway, because it's their life. Everyone has free will. People forget that human beings have free will. It's literally within your birthright to have free will. And whatever decisions you make, you're responsible for them, whether it's a right decision or a wrong decision. But people have exaggerated this whole concept of right and wrong, where it's like something that isn't wrong but is actually different or unique is labelled as wrong because it's not what the majority do. But since when did people have that right to say what is right or wrong? I'm not talking about the things that are harmful. I'm not talking about the things that go against the law. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about someone, for example, that is in a 9-to-5 job, but they've been literally dreaming of opening up their own business ever since they were a child. But it would be a huge risk because they might not have enough financial backing or support, but their soul is telling them that they need to do this because they need to do what actually fulfills them. And the thing is, people forget that success comes from everything. Money comes from anything. Money is literally abundance. You can literally become wealthy from literally doing what you love doing. Because that is, to attract true wealth is to do something that you actually love doing. You know? That is, what gets the most customers is when you're selling something that you would actually buy yourself. And I think people forget that, so they will look at the logical side of it, the realistic side of like, oh, but what if you fail? Oh, what if this doesn't work out? So what? At least you tried. At least you put yourself out there. At least you made a decision for yourself and not for other people. And it's like, the thing is, I'm the type of person that doesn't think of failure. Like, I don't think of failure as failure. Because any single time I quote unquote fail at something, I actually get better at navigating the situation or alchemizing it into something meaningful or purposeful. So anytime something doesn't go my way, I actually don't think of it. My mind doesn't think, oh, this is not going my way. I actually think in the opposite direction. I think that, no, this is actually aligning me to what is meant for me, to what is better, right? This is an opportunity to get better, to learn from my mistakes and to learn from this lesson. I don't see failure in life because what is failure? Not being good at something doesn't mean that you are a failure. You are just a beginner. And I think when you rewire your brain of being like, it's okay for me to be a beginner at this. It's okay for me to not be perfect at this. And whatever, this goes with everything in life, right? But making sure that you are actively trying, making sure that you are putting the effort so that you don't miss out on life, because people make all of these excuses of like, I couldn't do this, or I wasn't able to, or I wish I did this. You don't want to live a life where somewhere in the near future you mutter the sentence of, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I could have reached out to that person, I wish I could have developed that connection even further, but I was too scared because this means something to me. People let fear get in the way of the biggest blessings that they could have, truly. But that is when you operate from the mind and the ego. The mind will tell you that you are not good at something, or that you will fail, or what if this goes wrong, or worst case scenario. But when you listen to your heart and your soul, you'll start to do things without thinking about it, thinking about it is not even a question. You just start doing things. You send that message to that person. You open up to this person, or for example, you make a CV and reach out to all of these different companies, right? Whatever it is, don't let fear get in the way of something that could truly change your life and truly just make your life better, right? And that brings you true happiness. And a lot of people let their negative experiences dictate future outcomes, when it's like your experiences have got nothing to do with your future outcomes, unless you still continue to stay in that state, unless you still vibrate with that negative victim mentality of, oh, life is out to get me, or why can I never find something good, why why am I so unlucky? If you think in that mindset, that is exactly what you will attract. But true abundance, which people call delusion, but it's actually faith, it's actually optimism, is not looking at your 3D reality, but instead visualizing in the like looking at the 5D, putting yourself in that visualization of what you want to have, and the life that you want, and the partner that you want to attract, the friend group that you want to be in, the job that you want, the house, whatever it is, right? Visualizing it and being very specific with it. Ignoring your 3D reality, because people don't realize that the 3D reality, it's literally nothing. Like, 3D reality is not real. Like, in my mind, 3D doesn't exist. Like, in the sense of, like, you can literally have anything you want, regardless if you don't see it right now. You can literally have it. Anything that you want for yourself, you can have. It's like, we forget how abundant and truly magnificent life is, because we look at our current situation or what's right in front of us and think, this is how my life is going to look like, for 50 years or whatever. But it's like, look at your experiences and look at it from the point of view of, like, how can I learn from this experience? What is this actually teaching me? And there will be things that will come up to surface, or people will treat you in a certain way that force you to look inward and be like, how do I actually want to feel when I'm around people? How do I actually want to be treated? How do I deserve to be treated? What is this teaching me about myself and my tolerance for things that were never supposed to be tolerated, right? Look at the things that you are tolerating and allowing. Because the thing is, you will keep attracting what you allow. You will keep attracting what you tolerate. If you don't tolerate disrespect, you won't receive disrespect. If you are, for example, very selective with your energy, you will only attract the right energy because you're in that state of, I only attract what's meant for me, and anything that is not good for me or for my highest good, I don't attract it, I don't want it, thank you, next, literally. So it's like, it's all about your mindset. Your mindset literally shifts your entire reality. People sometimes forget that your mind, the way that you think and view the world and other people, literally shapes your reality. And I'm not joking. Because if you think something is, it will be. And if you don't think something is a certain thing, it won't be that. So it's like, whatever you think will be. So it's like, imagine that. You think in a lack mindset. Okay, then that's what you'll be given. You'll be given lack. You will settle for less. You will be given opportunities where you feel disrespected and unwanted or unworthy. But if you think in an abundance mindset, that is exactly what you'll attract. You'll start to see abundance in every little thing, in the small moments of life. You'll start to see abundance in your morning coffee. You'll start to see abundance in the fact that a stranger wants to pay for your coffee, or for example, you're driving and suddenly there's a lot of traffic, you'll start to see abundance in that and think, oh, I'm being protected. Yes, I might be late, but I'm being protected. It's like your whole mindset and your whole reality is literally based off of how you view the world. If you think that everyone is bad, that is exactly what you'll attract. If you believe that there's true love, and if you believe in having it all, in having a relationship or a marriage or a friendship that is the full package, a partner that is the full package, that is attractive, but from the inside out, that is wealthy, but also wealthy in peace, in abundance, has a very, optimistic mindset. People think that in order to live this life, you have to settle for less because they don't think that you can have more. But it's like, who said that? Who actually said that? Look at the world that we're living in. Look at the people that are most talked about. Look at the people that have the most wealth. And it's like, you think that it's impossible, but it's like, okay, but that is also a person. That is also a human being. They're not special. They are just like everyone else, but they chose that they wanted a better life for themselves. The reason why that you're saying, oh, that's not possible for me, is because you think that it isn't possible for you. You think that you can't actually achieve it. You can't have it because someone else has it. But when you're vibrating from an abundance mindset, you aren't jealous of other people. You aren't envious, because the very fact that people have it is the proof that you can have it as well. You look at it as evidence. Oh, if that person has this lifestyle, I can also have it. And the thing is, never wish that you had someone else's life, because you actually have no idea the life that people are living in. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. This person might have this magical lifestyle or might look a certain way. And there's this huge stereotype, especially with people that are highly attractive, right? Suddenly people think that person is literally non-existent, in the sense that they're not human or they're just a walking robot, when it's like, hold on, you actually have no idea what that person has been through. Just because a person looks a certain way or is perceived as perfect doesn't mean that their life is perfect, and it's so weird to me how normalized it is to assume that because of someone's exterior and how they look, suddenly everything is working out in their favor, or everything goes their way, or they're just lucky, or they're just blessed. But it's like the most successful people, especially people that are successful but also kind and humble, right, and have a very strong sense of humility and humanity for the world as well, they would be the most people that have gone through the most traumatic experiences, but you wouldn't be able to assume or think that person has gone through X, Y, and Z, because how their life is presented is romanticized or magical, or you only see one side of it. But it's like, people don't need to show you their trauma in order for you to believe it. The very fact that person is a human being, don't assume anything about them. Don't think that you know what they've been through, or the life that they've lived, or the things that they've tolerated in silence. Because the thing is, the most gentle, kind, loving souls will be the ones that would experience the complete opposite of that, to the point where people would be like, people would look at you and be like, how are you the person that you are when you've gone through this much, when you have every reason to be angry at the world, But the thing is, people that have gone through extreme trauma and all of these different experiences, right, they look at it of this has shaped me for who I am, because it made me realize that I do not want to be like that. I do not want to relive that trauma, or entertain those kind of cycles. Being the cycle breaker is the most difficult thing that a person can do, because you're doing the exact opposite of what you've experienced and what you've been taught. And literally, it is literally one of the most difficult things, because you're literally rewiring your entire cellular system. I don't know how to describe it. Your entire, biological, how you're wired. You're completely rewiring it and reconstructing it to the point where you're pulling pieces out of yourself that have been projected onto you, that have been passed down onto you, that were never yours. Burdens, you're releasing burdens that were never yours to carry. And it's not easy. It is literally the most exhausting thing that a soul can do, because you come to moments where you come so close to giving up. But the thing is, it's especially to those people that are constantly on that evolutionary journey, giving up is not an option. Giving up is not an option, even if even if you've been torn down to pieces, you still choose to be soft. Even if you've been completely kicked down to the floor, you still choose to get yourself up and choose yourself and heal yourself, so that you can love other people and heal others. People forget that true love comes from the self. In order to love someone, you need to love yourself. Truly. And the thing is, it's ironic, because people will call you selfish for loving yourself, but it's that is actually the most selfless thing that you can do to humanity, because when you love yourself, you love everything around you, you love everyone around you, you love the world, and you bring out that unconditional love to the world and care to the world, to the point where you're making other people's lives feel better just for existing, but because you're projecting this light onto other people, when they're, especially people that are in their shadow. The light attracts shadow, right? Just like there's light at the end of every tunnel, the light also attracts darkness. So it's when you learn to balance the dark and the light, and when you love your shadow, you love your darkness, you love the parts of yourself that are imperfect, or that are vulnerable, or that feel exposed, or feel seen or heard, or fragile. That is when you can truly operate in the most abundant way, because you've learnt to love the most deepest and darkest parts of yourself. So, change is not easy. Change is not easy, and it never will be easy. And you know what you've been through. You know the things that you have came out of. And because there was a part of you that didn't think that you would come out of it alive. Not to get too dark here, but genuinely, there have been some of you that genuinely would have thought that you wouldn't be here, or that you wouldn't still keep existing, or you wouldn't live this long, And I'm here to tell you that genuinely, no one is more proud than I will be of a person that chose to be soft and to open up and to live from your soul and operate from your heart and soul, because that is true abundance in my eyes. In a world that congratulates ego and just trying to get up, the toxic side of it, of ego and stuff like that. Of course, it's good to have ego. Every single one of us has ego, but we shouldn't let our ego get in the way of the good things in our life, of the, allow us to treat the wrong people with, with disrespect, So there definitely needs to be a balance, but I think in my eyes, operating from the heart and soul 90% of the time will literally change your life, because you're doing what you want to do. You're doing what you're meant to do, what you are put on this earth, doing what is your soul mission, basically. Operating from your heart, not allowing your insecurity or your fear of being seen dictate how you move and how you show up in this life, because every single one of us deserves to show up, but also deserves to take up space. And we also deserve to be seen and be heard and be loved unconditionally. And we also need to love and hear and see people, loving them unconditionally. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone is your cup of tea, and you're not everyone's cup of tea. And how amazing is that? Because frankly, there are people in this life that I'm happy when they criticize me, because I would see them and be like, wow, I don't want to be, like, respectfully, I don't want to be anything like that, So it's like, the biggest compliment you can get is when a manipulator calls you selfish. That's when you're winning in life, genuinely. If a manipulator or an insecure person calls you selfish or tries to humble you, just know that you're doing something. Oh, you're doing something, because they wouldn't humble you if you didn't do anything, or if you weren't this person with such high potential and power and strength. But they're allowing their intimidation get in the way of their own success, because instead of looking at you as this person that many people are inspired by, for example, they twist that to make themselves feel better, and they will try to pull you down and humble you and say things like, oh, who do you think you are? Oh, you think you're all that? Oh, by the way, you are nothing, for example, without me. You need me. When it's like, actually, you need me. If we're really talking here, the fact that you're the one that's projecting all of these opinions on me, saying that I can't live without you or that I need you, when I actually don't need anyone but my creator, that's it, right? I don't move in my life needing something. I choose the people that I want. I don't need anyone, but I choose who I want. Saying that you don't need anyone doesn't mean that you you're sheltering yourself from social connection. Human beings need social connection. Human beings cannot survive without community or social connections or social interactions. You literally can't. That literally leads to the most depression, isolation, and not having human connection. Literally is what puts you in depression, and deep depression. You need human connections, but the right ones. So if people are offended that you've suddenly distanced yourself from them when you have given them countless of chances of, like, you disrespect me or you've disrespected me, but they chose not to listen. They chose to gaslight. They chose to villainize you. They chose to twist and manipulate, or whatever it is that these people love to do. It's their game. But I'm not here to play their game, I'm here to live my life, So it's like, you will offend the most people that would disrespect you the most. So it's such a badge of honor, high praise, honestly. If someone that is a manipulator calls me selfish, I know that I'm the luckiest person in this world. Like, I've done it. I've succeeded at life. So it's like, do not let these people that choose comfort, that choose to be in the same position, that choose to attract the same cycles, that choose to live in a lack mindset, that choose to be miserable, because misery loves company. Misery loves company. But babes, I'm not the company here. I'm not the company. Look for someone else to cry on. Get help. Get therapy. Heal yourself, bro. Because the thing is, it's like, it will be the most people that have gone through the most, but you wouldn't even be able to tell, because they're literally like a walking, they're like a fairy, and they're so open and free and vibrant and kind. And it's the most people that are the victim to their own circumstances, because they choose not to change, they choose not to heal, they choose to live in that burden, they choose to be miserable, they choose to continue to sit in that discomfort of, what has already happened 5 years ago, constantly grieving and replaying and constantly resurfacing the same, constantly talking about the same argument that happened 5 months ago between their friend. It's like, bro, get a life. Actually get a life. And it's like, with these people, you have to be selfish with your time. And it's not even selfish, you're just protecting your energy. How is it that people have decided that suddenly it's selfish to protect yourself or to distance yourself from people that exist off of your energy, that leech on to your energy and want a taste of your confidence, of your light, of your, happiness or whatever? How is it selfish? Genuinely, how is it selfish? It's actually mind-boggling to me that people even go there. But it's like, I realised that the people that will project those beliefs would be the very same people that would entertain those connections, the very same people that wouldn't do the uncomfortable thing of distancing themselves from a group of people that they know or that are in their town or that they're related to, for example, because they don't want other people to view them a certain way. When it's like, people actually don't care. And it's like, it proves it, and even if they did care, you should remember the fact that these people have treated you so carelessly, so they don't even have a right to care about how you react or the fact that you're distant from them, when this entire time they have been careless with their own actions, with their own behavior. Why is it a one-way street? Why is it that people think that you have to tolerate disrespect or abuse or whatever just because, of image, of reputation? Genuinely F reputation. Your reputation has gone completely out of the window once you chose to belittle me in that way, or disrespect me, or make me feel bad about myself because you're so miserable, or try to project, or try to attack, or try to involve people and try to name and name call and spread rumors, when all I did was distance myself. It's like, it's actually insane. So it's like, you actually do, the only way to live this life is by not caring, truly not caring, in the sense that you detach from everyone, but also you are aware of what you want and you go after it, but you're not chasing after it. You're not chasing after anyone, no job, no person, no nothing, right? Allow these people to come to you. Allow life to unfold in the most miraculous ways, because when you reach that stage of abundance and true alignment to your higher self, miracles and blessings literally are magnetized to you like a moth is to a flame, but in a good way, of course. Things just start happening. People start entering your life. People exit your life. Chapters end for a new chapter to begin, Doors close for better doors to open. That is how life is. But people are so scared with letting go of what is comfortable, but they don't realize that what is on the other side of that is a life that is even better than their wildest dreams. So genuinely, the most self-loving thing you can do is to change. Love the process of change. It's such a beautiful experience. It's like you're a cocoon. It's like that whole process of caterpillar, cocoon, butterfly. Isn't it beautiful? Because it's beautiful to witness, or it's like the same way you plant a seed. You're out here planting seeds. Okay, you've already done the work, you've already done the effort, you've planted those seeds. Allow those seeds to blossom into flowers. But you need to do the work. The only thing that you need to do is put in the effort, put in the work, show up, and then leave it. Leave it. You already know that you've planted those seeds, that someday those seeds will blossom. But don't put a timing on it or expect it to turn out a certain way, but just know that it will blossom and it will bloom. But you need to let go to receive.